Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sunday's Coffee Lounge Talk. So, this is where we take a Bible verse and I share with you guys how I connect with it, and all faith are welcome. So, if you are interested, you can also see how these timeless stories connect with your life, right? I was Hindu all my life, and I'm in my 40s now. I became Christian last year from some unexplainable events, which I'm going to cover in my books someday. I have a gratitude journal and a book one of a trilogy, lots of more more books planned. If you didn't know, the book one of trilogy actually just came out a couple of weeks ago. It's called Grateful After Goodbye. And if you're new here, 2 years ago I lost my marriage and a job at the same time, and after that life just unfolded in a way that I cannot explain. So anyway, so I am new into this. I'm not an expert. I just try to learn from these timeless stories. This is a KJV version, and in this one on the channel on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. I do this, the Bible verse, where it's not a faith-based channel, but faith has been a part of my own reinvention journey, apart from mindfulness, gratitude, community on Meetup, that we have a midlife reinvention community where all the people there, we help each other out and also help people to reimagine their life, right? Reimagine their life after divorce, because divorce is still a taboo subject, even in this country, United States, even though it's very developed compared to many other countries. So my hope is that to make people feel special. And divorce is not a personal failure, even though a lot of people think, and people carry the shame and guilt for a very long time, even after divorce. So this is my way of contributing a little bit to the world, leave a little legacy if I can, just a tiny bit, just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit, right? So since it helped me, and I am not encouraging people to trade their own faith for mine, but just to find some peace, whichever way it makes sense, whichever faith, religion you follow, what I say is just go so deep in it. Do not have a trace of doubt, right? When you go so deep in it that there is no trace of doubt, that is when you will have the most confidence in yourself. And that's what I realized in my life, and that's why I keep sharing these videos. And also Wednesday night, there is something I call Wisdom Wednesday, based on the frameworks that I created. And also there is every day 12 p.m. 1 minute midday reset. If you are having a difficult day at work, you can check those out. Those are to help people, because I was in corporate for 21 years, and I know that sometimes how the day can get challenging. So sometimes those reset helps. Okay, so today's verse is Proverbs 17:17. Proverbs 17:17. And I'm going to read the web version, because the web and KJV both are kind of similar. And I don't use the other NLT and other versions here just because of the copyright. Normally you'd want to read those because those have a better language, or easier to understand. So web version, it is World English Bible. The Proverbs 17:17 says, "A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity." A friend loves at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. So I'm going to share with you guys how I connected with this recently. So after divorce, it starts right when, separation, divorce happens, but it intensifies probably a little more after the divorce is done, when you have two different houses, and you kind of navigate the situation with your kids, two parents, two houses, and all of that. So I'm learning, and I am, like when a kid is born, kids don't come with a manual, right? So this is also new. This also don't come with a manual. So you learn a lot of things as you go. And I was having a little challenging time with co-parenting, because kids are also going through their own emotion, right? Their own reinvention in some sense. So what happened is, as I was going through that, and I was so I bought this little Bible verse jar. I have shared it in other videos. You can look it up on Amazon. They sell those little Bible verse jars, and some of them are Proverbs, some of them are, Psalms and other things. So what I do is I kind of pick a random card. I wish I brought it down here, but you guys will see it in some of the other videos. I have it right with me. I pick that card and I kind of read it, right? So it gives me some messages, and it kind of, those messages like really resonate with that time, and sometimes it really seems like, God's speaking to you. So that day I had that Proverbs 17:17, and what I realized is, like, over time, which I have shared it in a couple of other episodes too, that I became codependent with God, and it's actually a good thing, because you do not want to become codependent with a human being. Even if you're husband and wife in a relationship, codependent relationship is unhealthy. Why it is unhealthy? Because codependent means one person is completely relying on another person for all their needs to be met, which is impossible for another person to meet those needs, right? Same thing, this person would start expecting everything from this person would start expecting everything from this person. So on this channel, we talk about divorce, separation, and all of that, right? So right before divorce, for a while, you guys know that they say the divorce starts in people's mind a lot before the actual divorce happens, right? And that is because, and this thing happens so slowly, and that's why, like, the things that are not normal seem to like normal, and then at some point you think that, oh my God, like, how did we get here, right? How did we get here? So what ends up happening is, you may have your friends, you have your interests, hobbies, and all of that, but as life gets busy, those fun things, it kind of goes out the window. And if you guys know about the quadrant I talk about, right, the rich quadrant is R is relationship, I is ideal life, your dreams and desires, which is like travel, meeting with friends, whatever, and then career, and H is health, right, physical and emotional health. So what happens is, the I, the ideal life, the dreams and desires, those are the ones that is like the second quadrant. If you're unsure of what I'm talking about, if you go to my website, Midlife Reinvention, midlifereinvention.co, and I also will keep that at the description section so you can see. On my homepage itself, I talk about the framework. So that is the intangible, the where you have fun activities with your friends, doing your hobby or traveling, whatever that makes you happy. Those are intangible. That goes out the window. But thing is, that is what fills your cup, that you can pour into your other, right? The relationship, your career, your health. But it's when we stop doing that, the other areas kind of get sad, and we get resentful and all of that. So why I share that is, for me, how I became dependent on God, because this is what I thought I'm gonna share and focus on in this episode, is, so my family is in India. Other than my daughter Alice, I don't have anybody in this country. I have some really, really good friends who became like family, but my blood family is all in India. So whenever, you're going through your challenges, you'll have your friends, but I don't have anybody in my first circle, right? Like, if you call it inner circle or the first circle, God is in my first circle. And the second circle is where I have my close friends and everybody. And this is not to say that it's bad. That's just the reality of life, right? Because people, when it comes to supporting somebody, if you need an emergency for doctors, or you're celebrating something, right, a party, whatever, holidays, your first circle is always your blood family, right? So for me, over time, what happened is, as I was going through this reinvention, I kept getting closer to God. I kept, when I needed something, I'm dependent on something, I started, going to God. And through this experience, like that day when I was having a little challenging time, and I picked the card, and it really, really felt like that Proverbs 17:17, that it's, I'm just looking at the verse again, that it seemed like God was speaking to me, right? Because at some point, um, you do self-help and all of that. There's a limit, because the way I say it is like, self-help is great, but self-help helps you with your mind and body. And there is this soul part, right? When mind, body, soul, these things, like these three things are in like alignment, that is when you have your best life, right? Because otherwise, if the mind and body is going this direction, soul is going this direction, and that's why when we have this worry, stress, and all of that, but these three, when they align, life becomes so beautiful, my friends. I can't tell you, right? So this soul is touched by that, you can call it God, universe, superconscious, divine, whatever that resonates with you, whatever different religion or God you believe in, because you gotta depend on that higher power. If anything has proven to be like, better than, we talk about trusting the process, trusting the timing. I have never seen it better than the last 2 years, the way it unfolded for me. Like, some of you have been following the channel from the beginning, before it became a company, right? Before it was a survival journey not too long ago. 2024, right? 27th May, Memorial Day, very symbolic day for me, because that was the first day I made the YouTube videos, and I never stopped. I never knew that this is what is going to happen. What I realized is, when we become codependent with God, the universe, and we let go that tight grip that we have to control something, right? To control the outcome of anything, may it be relationship, may it be our hobbies or career, or health, like losing weight, whatever that is. When we have this tight grip on anything, life just becomes more difficult, right? We just have to slowly let it go. I know it's easier said than done. And that is what you got to do, little by little, little by little. And I had to keep saying it to myself over and over and over. And then it becomes a habit, because everything is habit. Our brain functions with a pattern, right? So everything becomes a habit, and then it works. So interestingly, the other day at our Toastmasters, one of our Toastmasters member, he gave a speech, and it was actually so amazing. So he talked about, if you practice something for 18 minutes a day for 1 year, 18 minutes a day, 1 year, then you become you get to the top percentile of that, whatever you are doing, right? Let's say you are reading self-help books or something, 18 minutes a day for 1 whole year. And I did not know the rule, but for me, I started with this YouTube journaling, right? If you guys are interested, you can go back to 2024. There's a separate playlist. You will see I'm not even smiling, not laughing. I'm just talking, right? I was journaling. And in my case, I did more than 18 minutes a day. And I can tell you, like, now when I talk to the camera, you guys can see it, you guys can feel it, as if like I'm talking to a person, because it doesn't feel like a camera to me. Like, now if I was talking to 10,000 people in a room, or I'm talking to this camera, it just seems the same thing. I'm not bragging about it. The whole point I'm trying to make is, whatever you want to build, either you want to build confidence for your job, you want to build that good habit for your relationship, do an everyday practice of little something. If you do even gratitude practice, where you are trying to reconcile with your spouse, or you are at the end of your marriage, because a lot of people come to this channel where they are in a struggling marriage, and I tell people that give your all before you give up, because that, my friends, is a secret to get to this euphoria state. Because you will not get to this euphoria state, you will not get to this happy state and the gratitude and finding your purpose from your pain, unless you give it your all. Because if you don't give your all, you will always have that what if question. So as I go through this time, when I know how to enjoy the solitude. I know how to, not dwell in the challenging situation. Challenging situation still comes, I drop, but then I know how to get back there quickly, right? So our life is in this higher frequency and lower frequency. The goal is not to completely let that go, because we are human. We can't do that. We are not God, right? But the goal is like maximize the time in here. And that is what I have learned. And when I became codependent to God instead of human being, because it is also something that you got to learn, that the love that you get from God, no human can give you that love, because I cannot give that love to anybody. Same thing, another person cannot give me that love. But that's another interesting thing about Christianity. I at least know 3 different religions. I was Hindu, I followed Buddhism deeply for a while, and then I became Christian. But at the same time, I did some research that some of the versions of the Bible has over 500 times the mention of the word love in the Bible. Imagine that. This is KJV. KJV doesn't have that many, I think 200-300, but I think NLT or something has over 500 times mention of the word love, and peace and joy are also like about 300 to 500 times, right? The reason I share this is because these are my values: peace, joy, and love. So it was interesting. A couple days ago I was researching something, and because I was already kind of following that, and that's when my mind, body, and soul felt like really connected. And it was last year, about mid last year somewhere, I was doing that test, kind of, to find out your values from the Brené Brown's list, if you guys know. If not, you can look it up on Google. And that's where my values are. You're kind of put in fight or flight mode, and then you select your top 3 values out of like 100, 150, and they look like all could be your values, because it's like appreciation, patience, and all of that. So it's really interesting to see what you end up choosing. So in my case, I chose peace, love, and joy. The reason I share this is because this is so much mentioned in the Bible, versus like, if you think of Hindu Gita or other things. I'm not saying other things are not good. Our Bible is better. It's just, the point is what resonated with me, right? So you got to find what deeply resonates with you so much that you keep going to that, right? Because life will always throw things at you, my friends. Life will always throw things at you. But what is that something that you can always go back to, that you can recalibrate yourself to your own version, right? So to your own path. Because for me, that is what it has been. Because things get thrown at me like everybody, it happens, right? But then you need that anchor, right? God is there, God's words are there in the Bible, or you may have a channel like some so I listen to some sermons that gets me there in that zone faster than if I were to read Bible, because I didn't grow up with Bible. So I read, but a lot of it I don't completely fully understand yet. So that's why also I take this verse, 1 or 2 verses at a time, and I really try to deeply understand it and like internalize it with the stories, so that I also understand it. And whatever your style is, if you have any interesting way that you read Bible, please write down in the comment below. It is all about inspiring each other. It's all about helping people to find a little more peace in their day, and finding joy in the journey, and love. And love can be self-love, which is like compassion, and also like God said to just love one another, right? Don't look at the differences, and also try to understand other people. So another name of love is understanding, that I learned from Thich Nhat Hanh books, which is from Buddhism, right? Mindfulness Buddhism. And that's why I say that if you read my book, that it's, for me, it was not like I completely replaced one faith with another. For me, it is kind of a mix of things, right? So when you love somebody, it doesn't have to be a romantic love, any kind of love, like you love your kids, right? It's like understanding their point of view. And I try to do that with my daughter. She's going to be 10 soon. And it's not easy, because, they think they know the whole world. And they wouldn't want to hear anything from you. And I'm pretty sure I was probably the same when I was 10. But anyway, the point is that having that mindset that we want to understand their point of view, it just brings in a little more peace. So with that, my friends, Proverbs 17:17. Check out the website if any of this interests you. There's lots of other things there, the meetup group and the books, and see if any of this resonates. And good luck to you if you are going through this challenging situation of divorce recovery. You will get there. Keep going. Don't stop. Okay? Take care. Bye.